Do you know what is environmental audit? If not, well, let's us introduce it to you. Our Earth is full of natural resources. These natural resources are God's creation. Rocks, mountains, forests and oceans are examples of natural resources. However, due to man's destructive behavior and habits, these resources has been suffering a slow trail of destructions. This leads to serious environmental problems like flash floods, sea pollution and air pollution. These environmental destruction have raised a wake-up call to men to protect and preserve the environment from further destruction. Recycling and green technology are one of the ways to prevent environmental destruction. Therefore, environmental audit is introduced to help these resources from depletion. The Environmental Quality Act 1974 defines environmental audit as a periodic, systematic, documented and objective evaluation. The evaluation is to determine the compliance status to environment regulatory requirements, the environmental management systems and the overall environmental risk of the premises. ISO 14001 defines audit as a systematic, documented verification process for objectively obtaining and evaluating evidence to determine whether specified environmental activities and events conform with audit criteria and communicating the results of this process to the client. In short, environmental audit is essentially an environmental management tool for measuring the effects of certain activities like on the environment against said criteria or standards. Activities can be operation activities and procedures, industrial and commercial developments. Objectives of internal audit in relation to environmental audit. In environmental audit, it is important that all the activities conducted are aligned to the Act. Therefore, the objectives of internal audit on an organization's environmental management system are: first, to determine whether or not the environment management system conforms to planned arrangements for environmental management. This includes requirement of relevant regulation and any international standards. For example, a manufacturing company from Malaysia must comply with the required regulation and standards when conducting business internationally. This is to ensure that the company did not violate the environment intentionally or unintentionally. Secondly, to provide information on the results of the audit to management. This is to ensure that the management take necessary steps to curb environmental problems. As a good corporate citizenship, an organizations must incorporate proper environmental policies which consider the 5 principles. First, protection. Second, compliance. Third, conservation. Fourth, communication. And 5, ethics. The first principle is protection. It means that all operations of the organization should be conducted in a manner that protects the environment, their employees, and customers. For example, the Sun Power Corporation is developing a plan to sell electricity through become a solar manufacturer in California. The second principle is compliance. The organization should be committed to comply with all legal requirements concerning environmental protection. For example, the Environmental Quality Act 1974, Act 127. The third principle is conservation. The organization should practice and promote the conservation of nature and the earth as natural energy resources. Emission of carbon dioxide can be reduced through using electric car which is charged by wind turbines instead of using unleaded petrol. The fourth element is communication. All employees should be responsible for helping the organization to identify and suggesting the remedy for possible violation of environmental. For example, Toyota Company has come out with the image to be the first leading company that concerns with the environment sustainability. Last but not least, the environmental policies should include the ethics. The organization should have a set of ethical conduct and practice which all employees should comply with. For example, Toyota have basic action policy and action guidelines regarding environmental improvements.
created using Powtoon.